7 philosophical theories that can transform your worldview. Imagine that everything you think about reality is just an illusion. That the chair you're sitting on, the wall you're looking at, even your own body, all are merely projections of your consciousness. This isn't science fiction, nor philosophical speculation. These are theories developed by the world's greatest thinkers over centuries. Theories that have shaken everything humanity thought it knew about reality. In the next 45 minutes, you'll discover 7 philosophical theories capable of completely transforming your worldview. These aren't just abstract thoughts. They are tools that can change how you view death, life, and even your own identity. These theories have shaped the thinking of the greatest civilizations for millennia, and they remain relevant today, perhaps more relevant than ever. The theory of eternal recurrence, when life becomes an infinite loop. Friedrich Nietzsche began one of the most shocking philosophical thought experiments with a simple question. What would you do if a demon told you that you must live your life exactly the same way again and again, infinitely? Every pain, every joy, every moment would repeat exactly the same way. This is the theory of eternal recurrence, which is not just philosophical speculation, but a kind of existential test. According to the theory, everything that has ever happened will happen again infinitely. Nietzsche wrote, "This life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more. Nothing new will be in it, but every pain and every joy and every thought and sigh must return to you." But this isn't just a pessimistic vision. Nietzsche's goal was to challenge us. Are you really living the way you want to live? If you had to repeat every moment infinitely, would you change your life? This theory forces you not to escape into the future or past, but to be completely present. Certain theories in modern physics give a strange resonance to Nietzsche's thought. Cyclical universe models suggest that the universe indeed expands and contracts in infinite cycles. If this is true, then every atomic combination, including your exact consciousness, will form again infinitely. This thought can radically change your relationship to every moment of life. It's no longer a question of what you'll do tomorrow, but whether you can live this moment in such a way that you'd want to repeat it forever. The Platonic world of ideas, the truth hidden behind reality. Plato's cave allegory is perhaps one of philosophy's most famous thought experiments, but the underlying theory of ideas is much deeper and more startling than many think. Imagine that everything you see, every chair, every tree, every person, is only a shadow of what truly exists. According to Plato, there exists a world of ideas where the perfect form of everything can be found. The things we see in our world are only imperfect copies, shadows of these perfect ideas. This means that when we see something beautiful, we're actually seeing a faint reflection of the idea of beauty itself. The philosopher is one who is able to see the eternal and unchanging things, wrote Plato. This is not just an intellectual game. If this theory is true, then we're living our entire lives in misunderstanding. We think this physical world is reality, when it's only a weak copy. But what are the practical consequences? If the physical world is only a shadow, then death doesn't mean the end of existence. The soul, which can recognize the ideas, doesn't belong to this transient world. This would mean that the real you is eternal and is only temporarily locked in this physical body. Modern interpretations of Platonic theory can also be connected to quantum physics. Some scientists suggest that the reality we perceive is indeed only a projection of something deeper, mathematical reality. This thought can completely transform your relationship to death, not an end, but a return to the true home. The Buddhist teaching of emptiness, when nothing is what it seems. The Buddhist concept of emptiness is perhaps one of the most radical ideas the human mind has ever conceived. Nagarjuna, the 2nd century Buddhist philosopher, taught that all things are empty, empty of independent inherent essence. This doesn't mean things don't exist, but that they don't exist the way we think they do. Neither arising nor ceasing, neither permanence nor annihilation, neither unity nor difference, neither coming nor going, wrote Nagarjuna in the root verses on the Middle Way. By this, he meant to express that everything we think about reality is conceptual construction. What does this mean in practice? Take the concept of self. Buddhist teaching says there is no permanent, unchanging self. What we call self is just 5 continuously changing aggregates: form, sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. These never stop, they're constantly changing. This theory suggests that the root of suffering lies in clinging to things that don't actually exist the way we think they do. If there's no permanent self, then who dies? If everything is empty of independent existence, then what is there to fear? The Dalai Lama put it this way: when we understand the true nature of emptiness, all our anxiety and fear naturally dissolves. This isn't nihilism, but the deepest freedom. Freedom from the illusions that cause suffering. Descartes' cogito ergo sum, the only certain point in doubt. René Descartes started from radical doubt. He decided to reject all knowledge that could be doubted. The existence of the external world? Doubtful. His own body? That could also be illusion. Even mathematics is questionable if we assume an evil demon is constantly deceiving us. But there's one thing that cannot be questioned: thinking itself. I think, therefore I am. This became Descartes' fundamental truth. Even if everything else is illusion, the fact that I think is certain. This cogito became the foundation of modern philosophy. I saw that while I wanted to think everything else false, it was necessary that I, who was thinking this, should be something, wrote Descartes. This seemingly simple statement revolutionized philosophy. But what are the practical consequences? If the only certain thing is thinking, then consciousness is the only reality we can be certain about. This can lead to everything else: the physical world, others' consciousness, being only probable, but not certain. This theory also sheds particular light on the question of death. If thinking is the only certain reality, then what happens when the body dies? According to Descartes, thinking substance is not material, so it cannot perish like the body does. If you've enjoyed this content so far, and want to know how these theories can change your daily life, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button. And now we continue with the next worldview shaping theory. Heraclitus' Panta Rei, everything flows, nothing is permanent. You cannot step into the same river twice. This is perhaps Heraclitus' most famous saying, but the underlying theory is much deeper and more astounding. The ancient Greek philosopher believed the entire universe is in constant change. Nothing remains the same for even a moment. According to Heraclitus, change isn't just a phenomenon, it's the fundamental nature of reality. This world order, which is the same for all, was not made by any god or man, but it always was and is and shall be. an ever-living fire, kindling by measures and being extinguished by measures, he taught. This theory radically questions how we think about our identity. If everything is constantly changing, do we even have a permanent self? Your body's cells completely replace themselves every 7 years. Your thoughts are constantly changing. So who are you really? Modern science confirms Heraclitus's intuition. Quantum physics shows that even seemingly solid matter is in constant motion. The atoms you're made of have taken a billion-year journey through the universe before becoming part of your body. This perspective can change your relationship to death. If nothing is permanent, then death isn't the annihilation of a thing, but just another change in the infinite flow. According to Heraclitus, to the gods all things are beautiful and good and just, but humans consider some things unjust and others just. Death only appears as an end from the human perspective. Berkeley's immaterialism, esse est percipi. George Berkeley, the English philosopher, perhaps formulated the boldest theory about the nature of reality. According to him, there is no material world. Everything we consider to exist is only thought in God's mind or phenomena we perceive. The famous formula, esse est percipi, to be is to be perceived. It is completely incomprehensible to me what matter or bodily substance is, wrote Berkeley. According to him, what we call matter is only a regular collection of our sensations. The apple I see is nothing more than red color, sweet taste, round shape, all subjective perceptions. This theory may sound absurd at first, but Berkeley logically derived it. If all our knowledge comes from the senses, and the senses only give subjective experiences, how could we know there's anything beyond our perceptions? According to Berkeley, God continuously thinks of everything, so the world remains consistent even when we're not perceiving it. This explains why the same tree is in the park when we return there. Not because it's physically there, but because God is continuously thinking of it. This theory can completely transform your relationship to reality. If everything is only perception, then the limits of the physical world are also only perceptions. Death, too, can only be a change in states of consciousness. In Berkeley's immaterialism, there's no annihilation, only transformation of conscious contents. Kant's transcendental idealism, the world of things in themselves. Immanuel Kant tried to solve the philosophical problem his predecessors had gotten tangled up in. He claimed there is an external world, but we never know it as it really is. We can only know it as our mind's structure allows. According to Kant, the human mind is not a passive receiver of information, but actively structures experience. Concepts like space, time, and cause and effect don't come from the external world, but are a priori categories of our mind. Intuition without concepts is blind. Concepts without intuition are empty, he wrote. This means we never know things in themselves, only as they appear to us. Kant put it this way: human reason has the peculiar fate that it is burdened with questions it cannot avoid, but also cannot answer. What are the practical consequences? If space and time are only categories of human perception, then other forms of existence might experience reality completely differently. Death might only be the cessation of human perceptual categories, not the end of existence. According to Kant, in the noumenal world, the world of things in themselves, there aren't the limitations we experience in the phenomenal world. This opens the possibility that the soul could be immortal, even though this cannot be proven empirically. Hume's skepticism, when all certainty dissolves. David Hume, the Scottish philosopher, became the master of skepticism. He systematically showed that the things we consider certain are actually only matters of habit and belief. The causal connection? We never see it, only that certain things follow others. Our self? Just a loose bundle of experiences. When I enter most intimately into what I call myself, I always stumble on some particular perception or other, of heat or cold, light or shade, love or hatred, pain or pleasure. I never can catch myself at any time without a perception, wrote Hume. This approach overturns traditional thinking. According to Hume, we have no permanent self, no certain knowledge of causation, and we can't even prove the existence of the external world. Everything we rely on is only psychological habit. But Hume wasn't a nihilist. According to him, nature is stronger than philosophy. Even though reason shows we have no certain foundation, we still live according to our natural instincts, as if we did. Nature is always stronger than principle, he wrote. This theory can be liberating. If we have no fixed self, then we can recreate ourselves in every moment. If there are no absolute truths, then every perspective is relative. Death cannot be an absolute end in a world where everything is only a matter of probability and habit. Practical application of the theories and modern connections. These theories aren't just abstract speculations. All 7 can radically change how you live your life. Eternal recurrence teaches you to live every moment as if it would last forever. Platonic ideas remind you that this world is only shadow, and there's some deeper reality. Buddhist emptiness shows that much of your suffering is based on clinging to things that don't exist the way you think they do. Descartes' cogito teaches that consciousness is the only certain point in the sea of doubt. Heraclitus' panta rei liberates you from the illusion of permanence. Berkeley's immaterialism questions the primacy of the physical world. Kant's transcendental idealism warns that we never see things as they really are. Hume's skepticism shows that all our certainties are only matters of habit. Some results from quantum physics provide unexpected support for these ancient wisdoms. Quantum entanglement suggests that reality is fundamentally non-local. The observer effect shows that consciousness plays a role in shaping reality. Quantum field theory suggests that what seems solid is actually energy vibrations. Neurological research also confirms these intuitions. Brain imaging studies show that the sense of self is the work of a complex neural network, not the existence of a single central self. Neuroplasticity research proves that the brain, and with it our consciousness, is much more flexible than we thought. Synthesizing and living the 7 theories. If you consider all 7 theories simultaneously, a radically new worldview emerges. A reality where nothing is what it seems, where everything is constantly changing, where consciousness might be the only true reality, and where death might only illusion. This doesn't mean you should deny everyday reality. Heraclitus' river still flows, Plato's cave is still dark, and Berkeley's tree is still green. But these theories teach you how to see through these surface phenomena and reach deeper truths. In practice, this might mean you cling less to transient things because you know they're not permanent anyway. You fear death less because you suspect consciousness might survive the body. You worry less about the future because you see that every moment contains infinite possibilities. These theories provide tools to transcend the limitations of ego and see life from a broader perspective. They help you understand that you're not just biological machines, but something much deeper and more mysterious. If this content has touched you, and you'd like to understand more deeply how you can apply these ancient wisdoms to modern life, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button if you gained a new perspective, and comment about which theory touched you the most. Turn on notifications too, so you don't miss the next journey into the depths. And here's the most important message. These theories aren't just intellectual games. Each one is a gateway to a deeper reality. A reality where death is not the end, where identity is flexible, and where every moment contains infinite possibilities. The only question is, are you ready to step through these gateways?